welcome to a new episode of Product and Cake. My name is Paul, and I'm sitting here in the virtual recording studio with my co-host Ghonche. And it is finally a new thing, right? I mean, maybe we should mention that because now you can see us recording here. And you can see here on the side, Ghonche, welcome in our podcast.
Thank you, Paul. I'm really happy to be finally visible in this world. It feels a little bit different, huh? I don't know if it's the same for you or not, but for me, it feels a little bit different. I feel like, I'm being seen now. But if you do not see us, it is because you're just listening to the podcast. You can go over to YouTube, maybe follow us on YouTube, and listen to the podcast also on YouTube. It's the same name.
Right. And tell all your friends. Same name.
Tell everyone you've ever met.
Because we are planning great things, right? There are a lot of guests in the pipeline and super, super awesome things that are waiting. And today we just did the decision. We just took the decision to record this podcast episode as a video. But then we started to talk about what topic should we choose for this episode. And that is another decision we have to take. And then you came up with the fantastic suggestion to talk about decision-making process.
We forgot the check-in question, though. Just say.
Damn it. Right. Let's start with check-in question, because this is how you should start every good team.
And then I will continue with the why I decided that it's a good idea to talk about decision-making. Not only because it was a hard decision for us today to discuss what we need to talk about, but I think it is an important part of our work in the product and tech world.
Yep. And now I just quickly took another decision, which question to choose. And Ghonche, I have the following question for you. What animal did you wake up as this morning?
Ooh. What animal? That's a very hard question. I don't know a lot of animals. I think maybe a red panda. Yeah, I felt really like a red panda.
So you started slow and smooth in your day, or what is the red panda?
I don't know. They are like a panda, so they're like sleepy and they want to sleep, but they're a little bit more agile. Because I had to wake up and come to the office today. And also, they look very cute when they are sleepy and they don't want to wake up. They use their own tail as a pillow. So I really, this morning, could have been a red panda. How about you?
I woke definitely up as a sparrow, I would say, because I was awake very early at the day. I'm always trying to get up before my family. So I have a few hours in the calm flat and no one is disturbing me. No messages are popping up. And yeah, today I was very awake and just flew around and did a lot of things here and there, just the small stuff. That's not super satisfying because I love to tackle the big tasks in the early morning hours. But it was efficient and reduced my to-do list.
Nice. That's really cool. I need to learn from you. How do you do that?
It is easy. Just go to bed early.
Easy.
No magic involved.
Easy. All right.
Yeah. Maybe one tip on that one, because a super nice trick, if you really want to get up early, then when you fall to sleep, visualize how your morning will be. Right, you're laying in bed and you make it as visual as possible in your head, that your alarm is ringing, you get up immediately, don't snooze, just get up, go to the kitchen, drink half a liter of water because your body needs water in the morning, and then really visualize how you get to your desk or whatever you want to do. And as more detailed it is, as easier it will be in the morning, because your brain already knows what will happen and it will just push you to do it.
Interesting. That's a really good trick. I think to be for me it's going to be a little bit too hard to even visualize waking up and going to drink a liter of water. I don't think in the whole
You can start with
I
half.
don't think even in the whole day I have drinking half a liter of water yet.
That is not super healthy.
think
You should drink
I had
more.
I had water today yet. So good point. I will go grab water after then. So like
Yeah, your body is losing. Good one. Good one, definitely. Because your body is losing a lot of water while you are sleeping with breathing, but also with sweating. And most people don't start with drinking water in the morning, right? They drink a few coffees and then they start to feel pain in the head and they're getting slower and more sad about everything. And sometimes it's just missing glass of water.
yeah, now that you're saying I feel thirsty, but
I'm so sorry. I have my water here.
yeah, I don't. All right. That's a good point. I will keep that in mind. Now, let's smooth our way back to the topic we chose today, which is decision making. It's not an easy process for a lot of us, and I want to also understand how do you go about it? How when you have a decision on your desk, and first of all, how often do you need to deal with decision making on your work?
Um, yeah, it is a very big topic, and we can always, as always, scratch the surface and give some icing on the decision
Yeah.
cake. Because decisions, I mean, just in the last few minutes, we took so many decisions already. Which topic should we move the topic? Which check-in question, and so on and so on. That are the normal decisions, I would say, just the ground level of decisions that needs to be taken every day. But I think what you were referring to and what is maybe more interesting and also have more impact to maybe more people are the decisions we are taking as product and
Yeah,
tech leaders,
exactly.
right? And that could be what should be prioritized. Is there anything today that where the angry customer calls should become an urgent ticket or not? And also the bigger decisions about long-term strategy, about bigger bets you want to take, up to who you want to work with, right? And are you in the right position? And do you want to change anything drastically? So which decision came to your mind if you are thinking on decision?
I also think about a little bit harder decisions to make, so things that are not so straightforward. Uh, but when it comes for trade-offs, that you have very limited resources, either you can do this or this, how you're going to make the decision. So a lot of the decisions can be quite easy to some extent. Uh, as an example, like, do I need to build this feature uh, today, or no, it's a priority 2 or it's priority 1? Because we are already conditioned for a lot of these things. When a major fire happens, you know that it's a priority 1. It's an easy decision to make. But when it gets harder is when you need to make the decision what not to do, rather what to do.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I don't know where to start. It is, there are so many things. What came to my mind, first of all, is trust, right? Because taking decisions sometimes is easier than also living the decision,
Yeah.
right? You can take a decision and you can say, we build that, but maybe the team or someone else or a different team is not convinced and is doing something else, or they do it just half the power and then they said, okay, now we can do the other thing too. So a decision always needs to be baked by trust, I would say. And trust is something you are earning over time. There are barely moments where you can just step into a group of people and say, hey, I'm taking now the decisions, right? Because you will have a lack of trust. Ideally not too much, because you are well introduced and you bring already some pre-owned trust, but you need to know in which level you are.
Yeah,
I would say.
that is true. And I think, yeah, also what is really important, at least in our work with decision making, is who is responsible for making that decision. So I think a lot of time it can go both ways. Either too many people feel responsible to make the decision, then no one is going to make the decision, or no one actually feels responsible to make that decision, then the decision is not being made. Um, I think in both cases, it is important to make sure that you have at least a single person that you say, hey, maybe you are not the final decision maker, but you're the responsible for person to make sure that we come to the conclusion together. If you are not putting even the hammer down.
Yeah, that's a very valid point, and I think a super important duty on that person is to visualize or bring the consequences of that decision into the mind of people.
Exactly.
Because if we think through it, most of the decisions, especially in our jobs, are revertible
Exactly.
or checkable in just a week. Is it the right direction? Is there any checkpoints we want to reach to make sure that we decided the right way? And this is beautiful. I really love that on our jobs.
Yeah.
That we can just release a new version, or we disable the feature flag, or we reallocate the resources, and then we take another decision. And that leads me to the final point from my point of view, is we need to take the decision, right? Nothing is worse than knowing there is a big thing to decide and then running away from it.
Yeah, exactly. I completely agree. And I really like what you said. The fact that sometimes the first thing that you need to decide on is not the actual result of the decision. It's first by when you need that decision, and second is it a reversible decision or not? Do you see a U-turn in the future of this decision or not? If you see a U-turn, then it should be a very, very easy answer that either this or that. We should not spend a lot of time perfecting every corner of this decision. And if it's not a reversible decision, you need to be able to spend a little bit more time on it. I also recently uh, remembered something. I was at an event that Obama was speaking, or it was a Q&A with Obama. And yeah, it was really nice. It was in Mercedes-Benz Arena in Berlin. And I think one of the questions that it was asked was, how do you make decisions? How do you, as in your role as a president of the United States, how do you make sure that you make the correct decision, make the right decision? And what he said was really interesting to me. He said, you do not, and please don't take it with a pinch of salt. I'm paraphrasing. This is not exactly probably his words, but this is what I understood from it. I need to double check this after our call. But the glimpse of it, what I understood from it was you need to make sure that you have 51%. You don't need to have all of the information to make the decision. You need to make sure that you have 51% of the information for your decision making. After that 51% mark has passed, every data point is another hammer on the nail to make sure that your decision is correct. But the threshold is 51%. And after that, you need to just make your peace with the decision that has been made and move forward with it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a very good point, because it is so easy to fall in the trap of collecting data endlessly, especially in our context where it feels like, oh, we need to be data driven. And okay, let's conduct another A/B test and let's search through the data of the last 5 years to find any signs of confirmation, and then deciding, okay, we should maybe wait another 5 years to take the decision. That's really, a really big danger.
Exactly. It will set us into a loop of analysis paralysis. And we will be stuck there forever. And what I also really like about, uh, I don't know if it's a cultural thing in Germany or if it's just a word that is being used a lot by my colleagues, is the concept of Menkengrundlage, which I don't even know if it's actually a German word or it's a made up word, but it's the basis for discussion. So it allows, yeah,
Grundlage. Yeah, the one thing where you can complain.
yeah,
Right?
yeah, exactly. So it's like it's a proposal that you can start discussing on. It's and it allows um the consent-based decision making to happen, which is oftentimes works much faster because you already provide a suggestion, you provide some facts, and then people can point to a paper or something and say, yeah, this part I don't like, maybe this part we need to change. This part it makes sense, this part. So you start adjusting, but there is a base layer of discussion available for you.
Yeah, that is definitely a good point. And if you start to uh, search for decision frameworks, right, or tips on how to find decisions, you can also fall in the rabbit hole of endless psychological studies on how to do it and how to bring the decision into your team and into the organization. And you can really get lost in the possibilities. But I want to highlight one point. There are beautiful studies that show that our gut feeling is very, very precise and very reliable, right? And that connects very much to the data points you want to collect. Most of the times you have already the gut feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time, this gut feeling is already correct. So if everything is overwhelming and super complicated, I used to take a walk for 10 minutes outside and then come back and take the decision.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very true. And I really like that you started the conversation about gut feeling. For the longest time, I thought, yeah, you should never go with the gut feeling. Gut feeling is something not measurable. It's but uh also in the book of Start with the Why from Simon Sinek, uh, it goes through the information of what is gut feeling, where does it come from, and how gut feeling is actually the why that you have sensed because of your previous experience. You understand it, and the gut feeling and the way that this information is processed into your brain is because it is closest to the place that you get the sensory informations from your gut. That's why it's like right beside each other, and it's so interesting. So um yeah, I would also first of all recommend that book if you haven't read it. But on top of that, yeah, gut feeling is the information that it is the analysis of the information that you have already had, but you're not capable of putting it into onto paper.
Yeah, it is. It is definitely not easy, and you should keep yourself a natural interest in being interested in that.
Yeah.
I would say I try to find the right words, but to say I'm interested in about the different methodologies and frameworks and books and stuff, but I don't make myself crazy, right? Because if 80% of my decisions are the right one, I'm already very, very
Yeah,
far ahead.
exactly.
And never ever, I just recently had that, right? I mean, we have this podcast. I'm writing on LinkedIn. I'm head of technology, and I thought, okay, I'm in this topic already for close to 20 years, and I thought, okay, I really should have learned it. And then I took such a stupid decision that was so wrong, and I thought, okay, maybe it's just not the thing I should do in general. But that is not true, right? The majority of your decisions needs to be right. No one ever is able to take any decision right. That is just not possible
Yeah.
because we are all humans. But if you strive for curiosity and for gaining knowledge about it and always trying to make it better, invite people, search for the trust, define who's responsible, when do you need to do a decision, is it reversible, do I have enough data, and can I combine this data with a healthy gut feeling? I think then you are on the right side, and you should first of all trust in yourself.
Exactly. I really like that you summarized the whole thing in just 2 seconds. Very fast. You listed down all of the things that you need to check for making a decision. I think that should be our outro.
I thought so.
Yeah.
We reached the 20 minutes mark, and yeah, it was, as always, a pleasure talking to you. Good that we took the decision to record
Yeah.
today. And I'm looking forward to the next one and to all the guests that are on the guest list waiting outside.
Alrighty. Yeah, we kind of already shared our surprises for the next episode, that we will have so many more amazing guests coming up, lined up for joining us in Product and Cake.
Have a nice one.
Bye.
Bye.